Hi, I'm Dr. Colin Russo, futurist and managing director of Engaging Futures. Today on Futures Scene, I'm shooting hoops and talking strategy with the inaugural UNESCO Chair of Futures Studies, Professor Suhail Inayatullah. This interview is hot off a basketball court in the CBD of Brisbane. Basketball, like other areas of life, is not immune to social and health changes. For example, the Black Lives Matter movement is asking all of us to imagine and create a different future. And this leads to my first question of Professor Inayatullah. How does futures thinking guide leaders to create social and health changes?
Clearly, in the US, in terms of racial justice, the Black Lives Movement has suggested that, in fact, sports can lead us towards a vision of a greater integrated society. And sports figures, sports leaders have said we will no longer tolerate injustice anywhere in sports and outside of sports. So they're imagining a different future for society, and basketball and other sports can lead the way in creating that.
Further global issues that link futures thinking and basketball are futures of health, futures of sport, futures of longevity in the workplace, and of work-life balance. My next question for Professor Inayatullah is how much more and how deeply does futures thinking link to basketball?
So for me, the link between futures and basketball, there's multiple. The first one, I really understood narrative futures watching basketball. Basketball in the 90s was all about the hero ball, about Michael Jordan. That was the core narrative, how best one person can be. Then Mike D'Antoni came in and he changed the narrative from the hero ball to follow the energy. So basketball became about movement, about partnership, about including everyone. So sports mirror society, and sports can also lead society.
So futures narratives help leaders to transform society, and I understand that they are a big part of futures literacy overall. Can you please outline the key components or parts of futures literacy?
Really not just learning from the past or present, but learning from the future. That's part one. The second part is challenging our youth's future, the ability to read what's not working and get rid of it. The third part of literacy is understanding what's changing the world, what are the disruptions coming at us. Now, once we get those understandings, we have to frame them. How do we frame them? We use scenarios, alternative futures. Now, once we've done those alternatives, we move towards the vision where we wish to go.
And how does futures thinking help us to manage a global health issue like COVID-19?
So futures thinking in the context of COVID-19 is what we've seen in the research. First, you need to be prepared for changes, but it's not just being prepared. The nations that have done the best have deep social trust between citizens and governance, experts and leaders. And third, it's a public health system where everyone gains. So inclusion is critical.
To register for Futures Thinking in the Age of Pandemics, the Futures Thinking course in Brisbane and online, please go to engagingfutures.com. Our special thanks go to the inaugural UNESCO Chair in Future Studies, Professor Suhail Inayatullah.